The Gordon Setter is a Scottish breed who takes his name from the Dukes of Gordon. It was the 4th Duke who began to develop the black and tan setting dogs that were common in the area. At the time, they were known as Gordon Castle Setters and were renowned for their pointing ability, ease of training, and great stamina. When he took over the kennels in 1835, the 6th Duke worked on maintaining the dog's field ability and making their appearance standard. Gordons were imported by Americans George Blunt and Daniel Webster in 1842, and the dogs were recognized by the American Kennel Club in 1884, making them one of the original AKC breeds. Today, the Gordon appeals to a special subset of hunters and dog lovers who appreciate him for his noble good looks, scenting ability, and mild manners. He ranks 98th among the breeds registered by the AKC. The Borzoi, originally called the Russian Wolfhound, can be traced back to 1650 Russia when the first standard for a breed was written. The breed standard of today is not much different from that long ago description of the perfect Borzoi. The elegant, aristocratic dogs were bred by Russian nobles to hunt wolves. The dogs used to develop the Borzoi are thought to have been Russian bear hounds, coursing hounds from Tartary, and the old Char, a tall sheepdog. Another theory is that the Arabian Greyhounds were crossed with heavy-coated Russian dogs. The American Kennel Club recognized the breed in 1891, and the name was changed from Russian Wolfhound to Borzoi in 1936. Gordons are attentive and lively with agreeable dispositions. They are loyal to their family and wary of strangers, both characteristics that make them excellent watchdogs. If you introduce your Gordon to someone, he'll accept their attention but isn't likely to seek it out. A Gordon should never be shy or aggressive towards people, but he may be aggressive towards other dogs. He can learn to get along well with cats if he's raised with them since puppyhood, but he may view outdoor animals as prey. With children, the Gordon is a good friend, especially if he's raised with them. If a Gordon doesn't like the way a child is playing with him, he's apt to just walk away. A young Gordon may be too rambunctious for a toddler though. The Gordon should be calm and quiet in the household, that is until he sees you pulling out your shotgun for hunting or the leash for a walk. He has a high activity level, and a daily walk or run of at least 1 hour, which can be broken up into two or three outings, will meet his exercise needs. He's best suited to a country home where he can practice his hunting skills. If you don't hunt, try him out in agility, dog diving, obedience, rally, or tracking. In the field, the Gordon is cooperative, with strong drive and good scenting ability. He must generally be taught to retrieve, but he's capable of tracking wounded birds and bringing in dead game on land and from water. He often ranges out when he's hunting, but he's usually good about checking back in. This is an intelligent dog who is moderately trainable. He responds best to patient, gentle handling. Before we continue, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button, as it would mean a lot. Thanks. The Borzoi has a gentle spirit. His personality ranges from serious to silly. As a companion, you can expect him to be clean, quiet, sensible, and smart. He's also stubborn, but don't let him fool you into thinking he can be trained. That might be what he wants you to think, but with the right motivation, he's more than willing to please. You just have to offer him the right inducement, usually food, and let him know that you love him and will never put him in harm's way. And also, don't bore him with repetition. You'll lose his attention fast. A Borzoi is large and may appear menacing to those who don't know him, but he's not much of a watchdog. His attitude towards strangers varies from aloof to friendly, but in general he's trusting towards people and not suspicious. He might let you know that a stranger is in the vicinity, but it's unlikely he would attack someone. This is not a high-energy dog. Although activity levels vary, the typical Borzoi prefers a quick sprint to long-distance running, and afterwards he'll be ready to recline on your most comfortable sofa. If you want to spend the day in bed reading and eating chocolates, the Borzoi is happy to join you there. Gordon Setters can be affected by certain health problems. The most common orthopedic conditions are hip and elbow dysplasia, and an eye disease called progressive retinal atrophy is a potential concern too. Hypothyroidism may affect the Gordon. It's a common hormonal disease in dogs in which the thyroid gland doesn't produce enough thyroxine. Cancers such as fibrosarcoma are also seen in the breed. Not all of these conditions are detectable in a growing puppy, and it's impossible to predict whether an animal will be free of these maladies, which is why you must find a reputable breeder who is committed to breeding the healthiest animals possible. The Gordon Setter Club of America participates in the Canine Health Information Center, a health database. Before individual Gordons can be issued a CHIC number, breeders must submit hip and elbow evaluations from the Orthopedic Foundation for Animals OFA and eye test results from the Canine Eye Registration Foundation. Pen hip certifications of hips are also accepted. Borzoi are typically healthy, but they have the potential to develop some genetic health conditions, including a neck condition called wobbler syndrome, heart disease, and eye problems such as cataracts and progressive retinal atrophy. Some Borzoi may have an abnormal response to certain anesthetic drugs or to the stress of hospitalization. The Borzoi Club of America, which is the American Kennel Club parent organization for the breed in the United States, participates in a program operated by the Canine Health Information Center (CHIC). To obtain CHIC certification for typical Borzoi, breeders must submit heart and thyroid evaluations from the Orthopedic Foundation for Animals, the University of Missouri DNA test for degenerative myelopathy, and certifications from the Canine Eye Registry Foundation that the eyes are healthy. Optional test results that can be submitted are OFA hip and elbow evaluations. The Gordon has a long, thick coat with feathering on the ears, legs, belly, and tail. Depending on the type of train your Gordon is out in every day, you probably need to brush and comb him 1 to 3 days a week to prevent or remove tangles and mats, remove dead hair, and distribute skin holes. In addition to brushing, you'll need to trim the hair on the bottom of his feet and between his toes. The Gordon setter sheds moderately. The more often you brush him, the less hair you will find on your floor, furniture, and clothing. Gordons also love swimming and playing in water, so be sure to keep the ears clean and dry to prevent bacterial or yeast infections from taking hold. The Borzoi's long, silky coat can be flat, wavy, or even a little curly. Although it looks glamorous, it's not especially difficult to care for. It's resistant to dirt and mud, which just drops off when the coat dries. Brush the coat weekly with a pin brush, but be sure to check for mats behind ears and in the area where the legs meet the body. Bathe the Borzoi only as needed. Borzois shed heavily. Regular brushing will help keep those hair off your furniture, floors, and clothing. The rest is basic care. Trim the nails as needed, usually once a month, and good dental hygiene is important, so brush the teeth frequently for good overall health and fresh breath. Check the ears weekly for dirt, redness, or a bad odor that can indicate an infection. If the ears look dirty, wipe them out with a cotton ball dampened with a gentle ear cleaner recommended by your veterinarian. It's best to introduce your dog to grooming at an early age so he will accept it gracefully. Alright guys, which one do you think you'll get? Tell me down in the comments.